we can set up our AI infrastructure. But what happens when you have to invest on that? The hype is very big, the risk is real, and what are the rules of the game? That's why we're going to our next session. It's about angel investing in AI. For that session, we will have on stage Laura Modiano, OpenAI Startups EMEA, and Thomas Wolf, co-founder of Hacking Face. And I would like a very, very big round of applause.
Ta-da!
Welcome back, Thomas Wolf.
Okay, back again.
So I'm Laura Modiano. Nice to meet you. This was a great session. Thank you very much for your take on open source and what's coming in AI, infrastructure in AI. I think what the follow-on question is, you're seeing what's being built. You're seeing what technology can do and what's possible. But alongside that, you're also angel investing. So first of all, quick question. How did you get into angel investing?
Yeah, big question. I would say it started quite naturally by having, some, I would say, a mix of friends, also some people who Hugging Face has been around for quite some time. So after 6-7 years, we definitely have some team members who are calling you one day and say, hey, do you have 10 minutes to chat? And then you're like, And then they say, yeah, I want to start my own startups. I've saw Hugging Face growing, and now I would like to do that as well. So my first investment were mostly that. And then I realized once you write your first check, you're actually committing in kind of following a story and hearing, what's going to happen, and basically committing some time. And so that's when I moved from, just investing in friends and people I knew to kind of try to do that with teams I believe could build big things, because my time needs to be spent on things that are growing really well. And so I would say in the past year, that's when I started to be quite serious about that and say, okay, what's your business model? Basically, what are you going to build? Can we talk about that? And basically trying to push big stories out. And this connected to something we want to talk a bit today, which is a part of this is also to help European entrepreneurs becoming big companies, because we're a US company, but we're European founders. We had to go to the US to build a big company. I would like to change a bit that. I would like to see much more big company emerging in Europe, and that's a big question nowadays, right? So maybe my question for you, because a nice second part is that we can ask questions to each other, is how do you see angel investing being useful for startups and companies?
Thank you. I think startups have a path of fundraising typically, which goes, I start a company and then I go to a VC and I raise money, or I go to friends. And I think what comes in between, which is angel investing, is one of the most valuable parts for founders, because exactly to your point, especially when you look at people like us, you're at Hugging Face, you're an operator, you're chief science officer, I'm at OpenAI. Angel investors get to give you advice and be part of the journey in a very helpful way and give a different perspective of whether it is on the science part, on the development part, what the journey looks like. As another founder who's been through the process and who isn't just investing, the advice and the accompaniment that you get from the angel investors that you have on your cap table can truly be thought partners that are there to be friends, to be not just giving you money, but to give you time to problem solve in a very safe environment.
Yeah, I think that's they're like, in a way, I guess what you're saying is they're also a little bit like a middle type. They're not a regular investor, they're not an operator in your team, they stand a bit somewhere in between, right?
Exactly, and often they're the first people that you talk to. So the first layer of conviction that you have to have as a founder is others believe in what you're building. And if that belief is coming from people who are strategic, who are founders, or who are in the ecosystem without giving a huge amount of money or taking a majority of the round that you're raising, can be people who can then think through what those next steps are with you. Who should the right next person introduction that you have is, who or what is it that you need to do to get from point A to point B, if it is that you're trying to get to point Z while you're closing this round. And then once the round is done, moving from round to round, from milestone to milestone, having someone who's either been through it or has a different perspective in the ecosystem, not just as an investor, but someone who's also operating, can be truly valuable for founders.
And you reflect that very well, Laura, because you started really as a kind of really on the investor side, right? When you were at AWS, like a lot of relationship with investors, and then moving to OpenAI, so this very operative, we're building a product, you know, we can try to work with startups and explain how they can use the most efficiently their products, which is very operator role. And now, so as also an angel investor, very active, I know that on the side. My question would be, what is the most exciting things that you see in your daily European angel investing in Europe, I would say, maybe in particular?
I think very much like you, and I think that's, again, the beauty of us being operators. Taking out the specific applications that we're seeing, what I see from the angel investor perspective is increasing founders who have found success, who are now getting into it. There's a community and an ecosystem that we as angel investors are building. So when I talk to VCs, there's a very specific view that they have, and they represent their portfolio. Whereas when I talk to angel investors, they truly want to help the ecosystem as a whole. And we as angel investors want entrepreneurship to grow. We want to see more founders coming up. We want to see more ideas being explored. And then when we identify problems that matter, whether that is on a vertical like a fintech or health tech or resilience, defense, or whether it is a very horizontal, how do you connect models and how do you take small models or open source models and do something really, truly great with them, we get to bring those ideas together as a community and just help each other.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. A big part of creating a startup, and that's maybe the core reason why I started it, was you feel like you're part of a lineage, like a generation. You have this older entrepreneur that, you know, that's in general invested in your startups, and they give you advice. So some of them are relevant, some of them are outdated because the world changed, right? So you have to pick the relevant ones. But they feel like, you know, kind of parents in a way. And now when I invest, and I also have children, I definitely tend to compare a bit both. Like I try to see these younger teams and younger company as kind of a children of like an entrepreneurial, you know, lineage. I think that's something very important.
My question back to you exactly on that then is, a lot of investors, and I think the community sees investors are as coming from a finance background or I'm here to invest and be a steward of money. Whereas you come from the science and you're a chief science officer in your business, you think a lot about what comes in the future from the technology aspect, not just from a pure money and financial point of view. So how do you think about angel investing from being a very technical person in the field?
I think it's, I'm biased, but I think it's what makes this part of my life very exciting. So, because I have a tech background, I can really understand the tech problem that they're trying to solve, and that's really the interesting part. So you can see either, sometimes it's, you have a tech solution, and then you have a founder with like deep knowledge of a field that come and take this tech solution, and you're like, that's a very exciting application for this tech solution, you know, trying to get some example, but so just to say, what I was talking about was like financial processing. So there's a lot of data that the bank, for instance, need to keep, and there's a lot of regulation around how they can handle their data. And when you see someone who come and say, oh, I understood how AI could solve this very complex problem, because I know this very complex problem in my daily life, this is very exciting. And then you have the other extreme, which is maybe what more Dima was telling me when he came, and he say, oh, we have this very technical team, and they're able to do something nobody is able to do, which is basically run models 3 times faster on a smartphone. I was like, this is so cool. Like, this is like very exciting, as a kind of a child excitement of seeing, you know, something that's possible.
I think it's one of the biggest joys to see a founder say, I have an idea, and it's just not just an idea in my head, but I'm actually taking action. And angel investors, we just want to take a step on supporting that. And often when you're an operator, whether you're at Hugging Face, OpenAI, or any other company, you get to work on the problems you're working on. But it doesn't mean that they're the only problems that exist out there. So it really gives us joy, at least in all the conversations I've had with you on angel investing, on being able to support and to say multiple problems are worth solving, and we should be supporting that. And in addition, actually, I would say maybe following up to your previous question on how we were talking about community, I think what's really wonderful about angel investing is that it makes the tech ecosystem and the startup world accessible to anyone. As an angel investor, I think my first check was like 3K, 5K, which in the grand scheme of things, when a company is raising 3 million, giving $5,000 is not a huge amount. And out of my pocket, maybe it's not a huge amount, but at a younger age, it could be significant. However, it is one small step into getting into investing. And what's great about that is that whether you're in Greece, in Athens, whether you're in Slovakia or London, where I live, anyone can participate in the innovation, in the startup world, and in ideas coming true and coming to life. And I would recommend to anyone, whether your aspiration is to be a VC or to just touch the startup ecosystem and take one small step, start by finding ideas that matter to you, put some money into it to really feel like you have skin in the game. And then with that, more and more and more, you'll get access to the communities, to the ecosystem, to the idea exchange, and you can actually participate both financially and practically as a woman, as a young person, as an old person, as whoever it is that you are, by actually taking a stake in what the future looks like.
Very cool. So we have 10 seconds left, so just rapid fire, you have to answer by just two words. What are some areas you would like to see more startups in?
I come from a science, healthcare, and life science background, so I'd like to see more on the science side of things.
The science side of things.
Science and discovery, whether it is carbon, material science, life science, anything that truly focuses on what comes out of labs.
I fully agree. Okay, that's a great way to end
And
this
back
session.
to you.
Thanks a lot, Laura. Oh, the same.
Yes.
Science and also very old tech. So as I told you about this device that you can use to just put your old SIM card and talk with your data. This is very low tech in a way. AI lets you make low tech stuff work. So I think I'm very excited about this very hacky, low tech, small business type of things.
I think that's great advice. Problems never change, but technology does.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for the chat.